Hey guys, welcome to the Feast Kids. Again, I'm Pastor Caleb. We've got Ruth, we've got Abigail, and we are here today to talk a little bit about this week's lesson, which was a little bit different. Ruth, what was this week's lesson mostly about?
It was about leadership.
Yeah, it's about leaders at our church, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Abs, what would you say you got from the lesson this week?
So I definitely learned some of if they're making final decision, who does that, and we also learned who's gonna do what in the church. So if we have like any problems or anything, we know who to go to.
Yeah, who we go to. All right, so let's talk about some of those leaders. Ruth, can you remember we had a role called a pastor, and we had two men who are doing that at our church. Do you remember who those two people are?
You and Bruce.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Mr. Caleb and Mr. Bruce are taking those roles. So, Abs, we talked also about our shepherding team. Who are the four people on that team?
Mom, Alana, Preston, and Janet.
That's right. So, Miss Fran and Miss Alana and Miss Janet and Mr. Preston are all on that team. And finally, we had our ministry leader team, and that includes Mr. Ray and Miss Carolyn. Mr. Ray's going to take care of our building and the grass and the trees and all that stuff. Miss Carolyn is going to help volunteers. And then Miss Tori is going to do some work on our worship team. And then we've got Miss Ann who helps write checks. And we have Mr. Brendan who helps deposit our checks. And those are all the people that are kind of in that leadership structure. So we've got a few questions for you guys to talk about at home this week. It's a little bit less of a Bible study this week and a little more about learning about how our church works. So here's the questions I'd ask you. First of all, talk about your family. In your family, who does different jobs? Like, who takes care of the bills in your family? And who takes care of the cleaning and the cooking? Because just like a church, families have people that do different jobs. And so it would be really helpful probably to talk about who does that, so you can say thank you to the people who do it for that. Ruth, in our house, who is our main cook?
Mom.
Yeah, your mom's a great cook, isn't she?
Mm-hmm.
And Abs, who's our bill person?
You.
Yes, that's right, that's me. And who's our laundry person, Rue?
Abby.
That's correct. Abigail's done that job. All right, another question for you guys to discuss. Part of what we want everyone to understand is who does what and who to go to if they need help. So think as a family about 2 or 3 things that you might need help with at church, and talk about as a family who you would go to get help with that. Abigail, can you think of something you might need help with that you would come to somebody at church for?
If I have a question about the sermon, I'd come to you or Bruce.
Yeah, a question about the sermon would be great to talk to me or Pastor Bruce, right? Yeah. All right, and then finally we have an activity, which hopefully is a little more fun this week. Rue, what's our activity?
Get one of your parents to help you send something to one of the leaders in church.
Yeah, and how could they send something to them?
Text, call, or put a video on Facebook.
Yeah, find one of our leaders, and what kind of things should they say in their message to them?
I'm glad that you're one of our leaders, and I'm happy for you.
Yeah, that sounds really great. So if you can get an adult to help you send a message or a phone call or a private message or whatever on social media, some way to let our kiddos tell our leaders thank you for doing the jobs they do. So I think that does it. Does that sound good for this week's Kids Corner, guys?
Yeah.
All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week. God bless.